Hi, welcome to another travel video by Gary Rose Travels. In this video I'm going to be talking about some of the major shakedown cities that are found in the north of India. I'm also going to be talking about what to expect from these cities, places to stay, places to ask for when you arrive in the rickshaw, how much to pay in the rickshaw, and also sights to see. Now, these cities are known as the shakedown spots because they are where tourists get the most hassle. They're the most stressful and often they can be quite overwhelming. But hopefully after you've watched my video you will have a better idea of what to expect. So first of all, Jaipur. Jaipur is the major city of Rajasthan. It's the capital city of Rajasthan. It's known as the Pink City because it's made from pink sandstone. It's very historical, it's very beautiful, it's also incredibly busy and very popular. And if you're not careful you can end up parting with quite a lot of money unwittingly. So when you arrive in Jaipur, presumably you're going to arrive by train or by bus. The bus and the railway station are quite close together, so it doesn't really matter how you get there. You want to pay no more than 50 rupees from the bus stand basically when you get to Jaipur. You don't want to pay more than 50 rupees. When you get there you want to ask for a place called Sansa Chandra Marg. This is a quiet residential area. There's a lovely hotel down there called Karni Niwas. It's really scenic. It's very quiet, as I said, it's a really quiet area. So ask for Sansa Chandra Marg. If you don't like the look at Karni Niwas or it's fully booked, you don't want to stay there, there's lots of other guest houses located nearby that are all to a similar standard. So that is where you want to ask for. There's some nice things to do in Jaipur. You can visit the mighty Amber Fort. You can also do the walking tour of the city. If you're on a budget, this is great because it's free. There's also a lovely Halwa Mahal, which is a really unusual, looks a bit like a beehive. You might have seen it in pictures. In design, it's a really beautiful place. Yeah, that's the Halwa Mahal. Lots of nice sights in Jaipur, but do be prepared because it can be very, very busy. So yeah. There's also onto Jodhpur, known as the Blue City. Again, Jodhpur is really, really hectic. When you arrive at Jodhpur, you want to pay no more than, I think, 70 rupees to get to the clock tower. You want to ask to the clock tower. You don't want to go anywhere else. Because they'll try and take you anywhere else rather than anywhere else than you'd rather be, basically. So ask for the clock tower. When you get up to the clock tower, you want to get out the rickshaw, pay 70 rupees, and then you walk through a medieval gateway. After you've gone through the gateway, you either turn right and you see lots of budget backpacker accommodation, or you turn left and you see lots of budget backpacker accommodation. If you turn left, there's a place called Anil Sunrise Guest House. We've stayed here many times. It's a really interesting place to stay because it's in a very old, it's a home, basically somebody's home. It's a really interesting place to stay because it's still got all its traditional features inside, and it's located in the Blue City. So if you'd like somewhere very traditional to stay, this is a good recommendation. Also, if you go right, there's also lots of lovely places as well. And as you head up towards the fort, you'll see the fort dominates the Blue City. If you head up towards the fort, again, there's lots of lovely budget backpacker accommodation. So really, there's plenty to choose from. Don't be put off by the rickshaw drivers trying to take you somewhere else. Make your own decisions, basically, because there's lots of nice places to stay and to eat as well in Jodhpur. As I said, there's the mighty fort that overlooks the town. There's also places called a place called the Gulab Sagar, which is a big water tank. It's a big step well. I would research that. Just type in Indian step well or Gulab Sagar Jodhpur to Google and have a Google image and see what you think. It's a really impressive site. Up near the water tank there's also some really nice restaurants as well. So again, just go and check it out and see what you think. But yeah, you want to pay 70 rupees to the clock tower. Don't ask for the name of don't ask to go to the name of a hotel, just ask for the clock tower. And when you get there, you'll go through a medieval marketplace, and there's the clock tower. You can also explore the marketplace as well. This is very, very historical, as you can well imagine. And I imagine that the only thing that's different now are the goods being sold. It's really traditional Rajasthani market. So yeah, it's lovely there. So that's that. Varanasi. Oh, welcome to India's spiritual heart. Varanasi can be quite a macabre place at times. It can be quite overwhelming at times. Basically, if you haven't already checked it out online, if you haven't checked it in the guidebook, Varanasi is home to the River Ganga, or the Mother Ganga as it's known, which is a very important river that flows through India. It's one of their sacred spiritual rivers. And basically the River Ganga flows from up high in the Himalayas all the way down through India, down and out into the Bay of Bengal. And when you're Hindu, when you die, to be burnt, because Hindus are cremated when they die. If you're a Hindu and you die and you're in Varanasi, or you go, your relatives take your body to Varanasi to be burnt at the side of the River Ganga and have your ashes swept into the river as it flows past. This absolves your sins. Also, it breaks the cycle of rebirth, because Hindus believe in the cycle of continuous rebirth into another form, into another life. However, if your ashes are swept into the River Ganga, then that cycle is broken, meaning you will be at peace. So obviously, if you're Hindu, it's a very important place for you to go. Also, it attracts a lot of Hindu tourists, it attracts a lot of Western tourists, it attracts just a lot of Indian tourists as a whole, really. It's an amazing place to go, Varanasi. Westerners seem to love it because in our culture, the only time you see your relatives when they've died is when they're in the fridge or they're in a box. Also, obviously, coming face to face with kind of open air funerals is something which it does attract people. It's a really unusual sight for us. So yeah, that's Varanasi basically. Definitely worth one to have a read about, or have a look online about. However, it can be a very, very hectic place to visit, very overwhelming. So basically in Varanasi we have encountered fake shops, fake yoga teachers, fake guides, fake rickshaw drivers, random strangers following us and asking us for commission for no apparent reason. The best way to survive it is because rickshaws aren't allowed into the heart of the old town, so the best way to survive it for us is to either get the train or the bus into Varanasi, because you're budget backpackers and you'll be taking the train or the bus. Once you get there, you want to ask a rickshaw driver, don't pay more than 80 rupees for a motorised rickshaw, and if it's a pedal rickshaw, don't pay more than 100 rupees. You want to ask for Manikanika Ghat. This part of Varanasi is really, really old. It's in the old town. Rickshaws can't get into the old town, so they will take you as close to Manikanika Ghat as you can get. So get out the rickshaw, pay the agreed fee, no more, and then you want to walk to a shop called the Blue Lassi Shop. Now this shop sells lassis, which are yogurty drinks, and it's very, very famous across India, but it's very famous in Varanasi, obviously. As you arrive at Manikanika, you'll see signs already painted on the sides of buildings for the Blue Lassi Shop, and it will say Blue Lassi Shop 5 minutes, Blue Lassi Shop 10 minutes, Blue Lassi Shop 300 meters, whatever. So it's very well signposted. Now, if you're not sure, or if you've got your guidebook but you're not sure which way to go, you can ask other tourists for advice, because chances are if there's tourists there, they will have been. Also, you can ask, there's lots of army and lots of police presence in Varanasi. You can ask army and police for advice, for help getting around, because they have nothing to gain. This is what you have to remember about visiting anywhere, really. ask people who have nothing to gain. Don't ask shopkeepers and this applies throughout the world, not just India. It applies in our country as well. Ask people who haven't got anything to gain, because if they think you're lost, or you're looking for a shop, or you're looking for a hotel, perhaps they'll take you somewhere and try and get commission, try and make money out of you. So ask people who haven't got anything to gain. I know sometimes I give Indian rickshaw drivers a bit of a bad rap, but it's true. Unfortunately, for some people, yeah, they do try and take advantage of you. Not just Indians, people across the whole world have tried to do this to us. So yeah, my advice is ask people who haven't got anything to gain. So perhaps ask other tourists. So yeah, once you find the Blue Lassie shop, sit down and order yourself a lassi, because they're really nice, and two, because you'll probably be quite hassled at this point. You'll have been really hassled to get there. So just take 5 minutes and relax. So yeah, you've made it. Well done. Don't worry if you get lost in the crowded streets of Varanasi. It's like a little maze, but as I said, there's plenty of people there. There's army, police, there's lots of tourists to ask for directions. So yeah, that's 3 shakedown spots. So how to avoid getting knocked when you arrive at a new town. Again, this information is not just unique to India, it can be used in any country across the world. And although Indians are an extremely friendly and hospitable bunch, they're some of the kindest people we have met on our travels. Somewhere down the line on your travels, somebody will sadly knock you. That's just the way of the world, I'm afraid. And if you're there with your guidebook in your hand and your backpack on, you will stick out like a sore thumb. Especially if, you know, you're there and it's quite obvious you're not sure what's happening. You will stick out, and somebody, you know, chances are they will try and knock you to get money out of you. So the best thing to do is to not head to a hotel, head to a restaurant or a cafe. Sit down, get yourself a drink, get organised, have a look at your map, find out where you are, get a chatting to some of the travellers, get a chatting to some backpackers, and just find out where they're staying, where's hip, where's safe, where they like, what are they paying, and then take it from there. Also, you can have, if you're in a group, or like 3 or 4 of you together, perhaps you can, 2 or 3 of you can sit down, maybe 2 of you sit down and then 2 of you go off and find somewhere. Leave your big bags at the cafe or the restaurant so you're not walking around, so it doesn't attract attention, basically. Me and Gary do this. I have an advantage because obviously me and Gary always travel together, so I will sit down and he will drop his big bag and just go on foot by himself to find recommendations that are in the Lonely Planet or in our guidebook that we're using. And that way also, when you go there, you're at an advantage because you don't have your big bag. It doesn't look like you're in desperate need of a room, so the ball is in your court. You see what I'm saying? As far as the guest house owners are aware, you've already got somewhere to stay and you're just looking for a change in the town. And also if they ask, you can say, oh yeah, I'm just staying around the corner. Because again, if you've not got your big bag, chances are you've already got somewhere sorted and you're not desperate for a room, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's a really good way of not getting knocked. Also, always ask to go to a landmark, or perhaps there's a temple or a church or a mosque or a water fountain or a clock tower, or a road that you can see on the map. Again, in your guidebooks there should be maps with roads. Always ask to go to a landmark by name. Never ask to go to a specific name of a hotel. You can also ask to go, oh, take me to Tundi Kebab, which is a restaurant in a place called Lucknow in India, very famous, first one I can think of. You know, ask to go to Tundi Kebab. They're not going to get a commission for taking you to a restaurant. And also, once you get to Tundi Kebab, you can get out and walk from there, type thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, try not to ask for places by name, because again, people will try and get commission. We use this technique all over the world. Wherever we go, we always find out the nearest place to, and it just helps us, basically. So yeah, that's my advice for the shakedown cities. Please continue watching my channel because I have 2 more videos on proposed routes, one for 3 weeks and one for 4 weeks in India, covering completely different places. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.